بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي وقال تعالى ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected friends and elders, just a continuation from where we left off from when we were discussing regarding the life of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, where the wife of the finance minister tried to seduce Yusuf, but then she tried, and the child that spoke in its cradle and said وَشَهِدَ شَاهِدٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا, that if the cloth has been torn from the front, then Yusuf is a liar and she is speaking the truth. وَإِن كَانَ قَمِيصُهُ قُدَّ مِن دُبُرٍ, if it is torn from the back, then Yusuf is a truthful one and she is speaking lies. And it happened to be so that فَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ قُدَّ مِن دُبُرٍ, that the shirt and the qamis was torn from the back. But then again, obviously, she wanted to seduce Yusuf. She was the wife of the finance minister, so the hierarchy. How can she be blamed for something, what happens with their servants? So anyway, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was sent to the prison. قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا يَدْعُونَنِي إِلَيْهِ. Subhanallah. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam saying is, قَالَ رَبِّ السِّجْنُ, I am better off in the prison than being in the house of this particular woman, or being with this woman in this house. قال رب السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه وإلا تصرف عني كيدهن أصب إليهن وأكن من الجاهلين. Now when Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam walked into the prison, وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ قَالَ أَحَدُهُمَا إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَعْصِرُ خَمْرًا وَقَالَ الْآخَرُ إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَحْمِلُ فَوْقَ رَأْسِي خُبْزًا تَأْكُلُ الطَّيْرُ مِنْهُ نَبِّئْنَا بِتَأْوِيلِهِ إِنَّا نَرَاكَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. So there were two youngsters who came in simultaneously as Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was entering the prison. And they knew that this man can never be a liar. His face, the way, his character, his mannerism, no, he cannot be a liar. And how can he be in this prison? So they found the perfect opportunity to ask this guy. And number one, the two individuals, one was the cupbearer of the king, and the other one was the cook of the king. And both of them were going into prison as well, simultaneously with Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. So as they had a dream, they said, look, we have a dream, we want you to interpret the dream. Now something where interpretation of dream comes in, it's not something which you can acquire this kind of knowledge. It is directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah embeds that knowledge inside you, where you have the ability to interpret dreams. Not every scholar has the ability. Certain scholars, whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed with, they have the ability to interpret dreams. There are numerous books on dreams, Ibn Sirin and so forth. There are many different books regarding interpretation of dreams, but this particular knowledge is not something which you can study for it, but rather it is which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whomsoever He wishes to give to. Anyway, further on, they have a dream. One of them says, you know what, I see in a dream that I'm giving the king wine. That was one of the dream of one of the youth. The other one said, you know what, the dream that I'm having is that I'm holding a basket of bread in it. So there's a basket on my head, there's bread inside the basket, but there's birds plucking from the bread. So can you please interpret the dreams? Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, being the Nabi of Allah, very intelligent. He said, wait, don't worry. Before your next meal comes, I will tell you the interpretation. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam in the meantime gave him da'wah, bringing them close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making them anxious and wait. And as they were awaiting for the response of their dream, the interpretation of their dream rather, they became overly anxious, and before the meals can come, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam said, don't worry, you'll become the cupbearer, you will be giving the king wine to drink. So you will be set free and you will go. The other one, you're going to be put on. You're going to be suicide. You're going to be killed. So eventually, the one that was about to be released and allowed to go back to the king, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, just as a goodwill gesture, you're there in the prison innocently. You've got nothing on you. There's no blame on you. But you have been put into prison innocently. And here you're sitting in prison. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, as a goodwill gesture, said to him that if you get the chance and if you happen to remember, inform the king about me. That's all he said. This cupbearer, he went to the king and then he totally forgot about Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Totally forgot. According to Mufassirun, 7 years went by. Not just 7 days, 7 years. Till the king seen a dream. وقال الملك إني أرى 7 بقرات سمان يأكلهن 7 إجاف و7 سنبلات خضر وأخر يابسات. The dream, in a nutshell, the king seen that 7 lean cows are devouring 7 fat cows. And regarding the crops, that 7 years of corn, the ears of the corn is actually disappearing, it's going away. So the king became extremely worried. What do I do? So obviously the first thing the king does, he calls his cabinet, his office, his members, the close people. He said, you know what, I've seen this dream, I need to know the interpretation. They said, no, don't worry, don't be silly. These are just dreams. Like how children they see cartoon in their minds and in their dream. And the same thing, you're just seeing some kind of dream here. It's nothing. The king is absolutely disturbed. He's perturbed. What do I do in this situation? Anyway, they called all the various different people from throughout the city to give the interpretation of the dream. Everybody gave the common answer. Now, this cupbearer for the king, giving the wine, he said, oh, you know what? I know a guy who helped me. But he's there in the prison. So he came. So he asked for permission, and he was granted permission, and he ran to Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Subhanallah. I have a smile on my face because that's absolutely amazing what Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. When he came, this cupbearer of the king, when he came to Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, he told him the king's dream. And Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam interpreted the dream of the king. That you must keep the harvest for 7 years, do not, you should have enough harvest, there will be famine, and when the famine does happen, then you will have enough stock to go through that famine, and then you'll be able to live further on. So when the interpretation was given regarding the dream, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam responded immediately. He didn't say, what are you doing here? Did I warn you? Did I tell you? Why didn't you tell the king? Now why must I tell you the interpretation of the dream? If it was me and you, that's what we would do. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I salute my brother Yusuf that he responded immediately. He did not waste time. He told the cupbearer the dream, the interpretation of the king's dream. Now anyway, after the interpretation was given, and this cupbearer went and told the king. That king now was anxious that I want to meet this man. Take him out from the prison and I want to meet him. Now as this cupbearer came back and he said, you know what, the king wants to meet you, O Yusuf. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam said, no. How can I leave? I am innocent, but I want to clear the air first before I take a step out of this prison. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Wallahi, if it was me and you, we would run out, we would rush out and go towards the king. That's what me and you would have done. But I salute my brother Yusuf. He did not rush out. He wanted to clear the air of his innocence before he can take the step out of the prison. Anyway, he was cleared regarding the incident that happened with the finance minister's wife, and then eventually she spoke the truth regarding Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, but he was totally innocent. It wasn't, he did not seduce me, I tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Anyway, cutting the long story short, after he gave the interpretation, the king was absolutely impressed with the interpretation, and he became the finance minister. Imagine, from the well till where? The finance minister. That's where Allah takes you. Wallahi, it's something which is unreal. It's unreal. As they say in Urdu, the कुआं से लेकर सल्तनत तक पहुंचा दिया अल्लाह ने यूसुफ अलैहि सलातु वसलाम को. From the well, from the depth, from the darkness of the well, to where the beacon of light, where you are the finance minister, everything is within your control and your ability, as you distribute it to whomsoever you please. Anyway, as the famine happened, and obviously it also reached the brothers as well, the famine, and it reached Canaan. That's where the brothers were, and that's where Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam was from. So the brothers then came to Egypt to make, to ask maybe they could get something, and brought some provisions with them to pay for the wheat and the barley as what they wanted, the provisions which they wanted, and they handed over. But they had no idea that this finance minister is their brother Yusuf. But Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, you will never forget the ill feeling that people do to you. The simple reason is you have the kind of flashbacks, but you forgive them right away. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam recognized his brothers, but then he was a bit upset in the fact that there was one brother that wasn't present, and that was Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam's real brother, and that was Binyamin. Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, Binyamin was from another mother, and the rest of the brothers was from another mother, but the same father. So he seen that Binyamin wasn't with. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam interacted with the brothers and then said, okay, I will give you the provision. Again, they had no idea that they're speaking to their own brother Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. Because remember, they threw him when he was a young boy. Now Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam has grown big, he's become an adult. So now Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam seen everything unfolding, and then he gave the provisions, and whatever they paid for the provisions, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam told the people who were working for Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam that return back what they have given as well, as to pay for the provisions. So it returned back. And as Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, as they were going, they left and they went back home, and to their astonishment they found and they see that not only they received the provision, but they paid, the money which they paid with, the finance minister returned it as well. So they said, what a nice man he is. So that it compelled them to come for the second time. And when they came the second time, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam interacted, and this time in the interaction he asked them, do you have any brothers? And they said, yes, we have a younger brother who is with our father, and he will not, and our father will not be separated from this young brother of ours, because our father loves him a lot. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam said, why don't you bring him along? Because it will be very difficult. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam in that moment in time put a special cup, a mug, as they would say, or a special jar inside their provision. And then eventually it was informed that someone has stolen the cup of the king. And as their bags were searched, they found the cup inside their provision. Now it compelled the eldest son to stay behind, so that he must stay behind. So one of the brothers had to stay behind to ensure that all this is happening, unfolding. Why is it happening? Obviously Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam wanted the brother to stay behind. So on the third trip, as they came along, they brought Binyamin with. And that's when Binyamin was told to stay behind, and Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam recognized Binyamin straight away and took Binyamin to one side and told him that I am Yusuf. So Binyamin knew exactly, but at that moment in time, he wanted Binyamin to stay behind And that's in the incident regarding the cup of the king happened. So that he can keep Binyamin with him and not allow him to return back to Canaan. Again, Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam is going through difficulty. First he lost Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, now he's going to be losing Binyamin. So difficulty upon difficulty. This is what happened to Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam, yet being the Nabi of Allah. But look at the patience and perseverance of this man, is absolutely amazing. Yet going through so much adversity in life, and shortage of food and everything that's there. But the faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew no bounds for Yaqub alayhi salatu wasalam. That's what he had with him. Continue. Anyway, cutting a long story short from here, Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam interacted with the brothers, and when he told them, قالوا أئنك لأنت يوسف قال أنا يوسف وهذا أخي, then do you know I am Yusuf? And to their astonishment, they were absolutely, speechless, because they couldn't believe that this is our brother Yusuf, when they know themselves the guilt that they have, the little guilty feeling that we threw him in the well. What is he doing on the platform of being the finance minister here? So that's what surprised everything. And that's when Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam told them, and they couldn't believe, and they were shy. But Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam said, قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Don't worry, there are no grievances today. I'm not going to take any revenge. Don't worry, I forgive you. And those are the very same words when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam conquered Makkah al-Mukarramah, and when he went inside the Kaaba, and then he destroyed all the idols, and then he performed his salah, and when he came out of the Kaaba and he stood there, and that's when all the Quraysh said, now we're going to see what Muhammad is going to do to us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam stood very bold, and he was clear. Today I say the very same words as my brother Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam. قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الْيَوْمِ يَغْفِرُ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. Forgive and forget what has happened in the past. I forgive each one of you. And that's when the people of Makkah, those that were present, and they see the softness of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they accepted Islam. And when Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam told them that, today I forgive you, قَالَ لَا تَثْرِيبَ عَلَيْكُمْ. No grievances, no revenge at all whatsoever. I forgive you. And that's what we need to do today. That anybody does us any harm, it doesn't matter, irrelative how big the harm is, whether it's financially, physically, spiritually, we've got to learn to forgive one another. Really, this is the key factor here. Is we must learn to forgive. That person has done us down. He must, he owes me money, and yet he's not paying me. And it's been over 20, 25, 30 years. So brother, if you can pay, alhamdulillah. If you can't, Allah, I forgive you. I do not want it so I grab you on the day of Qiyamah. No. Let's forgive the brother in this world. Remember, if you forgive that brother in this world, the day when you rise up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that can be a token of appreciation of your entrance into Jannah, where you can stand before Allah. Oh Allah, I forgave this brother for what he had done to me, or what he had owed me. I forgave him. Allah will say, go my servant, your entrance into Jannah from whichever door you wish to. So that's the opportunity we should take. It's vital. I understand monetary things. Today we have money, tomorrow we don't. Remember, money is something that will be there today, it won't be there tomorrow. So always remember, we must learn to forgive, just like how Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam forgave his brothers. Just as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam forgave the people of Makkah, he forgave them. Although the difficulties the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam went through, the hardships, was absolutely, it's unreal what they did to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the boycott which they had against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his family. And immediately after the boycott, he lost his uncle, his wife, his daughter, one after the other. So it was a very difficult time for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he wanted, he could have taken revenge. And rightfully so as well. rightfully so. But the Prophet ﷺ said no. Look what he did to the people of Taif. He had the opportunity to crush the people of Taif, to what they had done to Rasulullah ﷺ. And yes, the angels were optimistic that the Prophet ﷺ will choose to destroy the people of Taif. The simple reason is they pelted him, not just very lightly, but very severely, that blood started gushing out from his body. But yet the Rasulullah ﷺ said, no. Rather he praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how did he praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's absolutely fascinating. He praised Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a manner, it is due to my weakness that they haven't accepted my message. The Prophet ﷺ did not say because of their weakness. He said because of my weakness. Because of me, I haven't propagated it correctly. I haven't learnt the religion correctly. It is because of my weakness people are not coming into the fold of Islam. It is because of my weakness that people are scared to turn towards Islam. It is because of my weakness people are scared of us today. It is because of us, it's our weaknesses. And that is exactly what Rasulullah ﷺ supplicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that it is because of my weakness that they have not accepted the message. So that's what we have to really capture, is that particular moment. Is point towards our own weaknesses. We need to rectify our own weaknesses before we can tell others that you need to rectify your weakness. Further on in tonight's discussion, also what happened, it was regarding the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. We should learn to make the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is exceptionally good. You know, sometimes the worldly affairs get the better of us. We are enveloped in this dunya in such a manner that it is very difficult to untie ourselves from. So the least that we can do is the moment we come home, we make the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And dhikr can be in many forms. Dhikr can be in the form of jahr, aloud, or just with the heart. So the beat of the heart. But making dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can say subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu akbar, la ilaha illallah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, or sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These are all various different forms of dhikr. We can, when we're just sitting there, we're not reciting Quran, that's the least we can do. Is dhikr, the constant dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that comes upon us. So again, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gives us a true understanding of deen, and He gives us the ability to make amal on exactly what Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam did to his brothers. We adopt the same methodology, and inshallah we'll see success in our life, in our children, in our homes, in our businesses. We'll see success upon success. But it is up to us to do it with sincerity and with honesty, inshallah. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت